The real reason why Marathon's NDA for its alpha was recently lifted, information on the anti-cheat, Bungie's strategy and how to combat cheaters, and some information about Season 1 for Marathon, so make sure you stay tuned throughout the whole video to understand all the details. But the reason why I'm bringing this back up, right guys, because we actually got a real reason why the NDA was lifted, and it's actually really surprising, and it has to do with the community feedback that Bungie has seen. This info comes from Paul Tassi over at Forbes, a really credible insider when it comes to this information. It really dives into these key facts about why this NDA was lifted, and it seems like Bungie really is hearing a lot of people's sentiment from the reveal, because even though Bungie spent over an hour talking about Marathon, showing gameplay and stuff like that, people didn't really get a true sense of what the moment-to-moment gameplay experience was like and what was going to be like the main hook for this game. And even then, they did come out later on saying that the main hook is going to be like when you get a chance to play on the Marathon ship, which is apparently amazing. We've heard this from content creators and all the developers saying that's the ace up their sleeve. But the thing is, like, they withheld that ace up their sleeve for the reveal of the game itself, which seemed to be rather questionable strategy on the side of Bungie. Because a big complaint about Marathon has been like, what's the thing that separates Marathon compared to all the other extraction shooters out there, especially Tarkov? And people just didn't really get that from this reveal, which is crazy thing. You spend a whole hour talking about the game and then people still want to know like what the game is really about. So there were 5 major bullet points that Paul Tassi brought up within this article I want to share with you guys because there's some really interesting stuff. The first fact here is that the closed alpha exists truly as a technical test ahead of the launch. They didn't want it open now to everyone because they need a limit to the number of players so things don't totally break. They need at least a somewhat limited test like this, certainly not uncommon within the industry. And that's something that was definitely brought up within just like the blog right here, where they talked about where they really want to just test out like the moment-to-moment gameplay loop and also the technical capabilities of the game. Like real core basic level stuff. The second bullet point saying that Bungie did an NDA assuming things would leak given the scope of this test, but as long as it would be somewhat limited, it would be good enough. And also stating on that they weren't going to try to take things down or take people to court. Now, I talked about this in my previous video where this alpha, you're going to have leaks. They recognize that. We saw this with the Battlefield alpha leaks as well. Like day one, leaks were happening. But I think this helps kind of control that narrative a little bit so then people don't just like clip things out of context, because there's definitely people out there online right now that want to see this game fail. Here's a major thing about this third bullet point saying that after the reaction of the gameplay reveal, leadership was nervous, but they tried to reassure teams. Ultimately, they figured it would shift the narratives if the NDA was lifted. Paul Tassi also adds saying, I'm also seeing a ton of codes go out, plus friends codes, so I'm wondering how many alpha denials are going to actually happen, and if it does in fact seem to help. The fourth point saying that there will be an open beta likely in August, much closer to the launch, where you will then be able to pre-order its various editions ahead of September 23rd launch. And the last part talks about price, because Bungie's been oddly quiet and trying to avoid the topic of the price, but according to what we've seen from insiders and from content creators, that they know what the price is, they're just not telling us right now. But saying at this time, as everyone assumes, Marathon's cost would likely be $40 in the vein of Helldivers 2 and yes, Concord. You simply can't pull the trigger this late on suddenly making the game free to play, even if it's a common complaint. Not that's the plan anyways at this point. So everyone's complaints or issues or praises of Marathon have made it to the developers, and they decided to lift the NDA so people just get a chance to experience the game, because they pretty much recognize that, yeah, our live stream didn't do the greatest job of explaining what the game really is. Because honestly, the whole time watching this, like for every time they tried explaining what Marathon is, it's like it's an extraction shooter. So yeah, it'll be fun. And that's kind of like the vibe I was getting from the whole thing. Like they do seem to have really in-depth mechanics when it comes to player progression, customization, and also just different things that you can change with the upgrade systems within this game, which some other extraction shooters don't really bother with too much. While we're on the topic of the alpha, we did have the start screen revealed to us online here, guys, with some awesome music. I'll give you a nice little listen of that. The vibes, guys. The aura, the vibes. They check. they're on point. Now, this being an online cross-play shooter, you know they gotta combat cheaters in some way, and we got some information about what the anti-cheat system is gonna be looking like for Marathon. And according to Marathon Bulletin, which has been pretty much on point, providing some great information about Marathon and all that kind of stuff that's going along with it, saying that Marathon uses BattlEye anti-cheat, the same software Bungie is using for Destiny 2. Though doing a quick Google search, you'll definitely find people complaining about cheaters within Destiny 2, but a big difference is that Destiny 2 actually uses peer-to-peer connections, and Marathon's gonna be using dedicated servers for their thing. So they stated also previously within various interviews, I believe KevinKoolx actually talked about this, saying that since it is gonna be like a dedicated server system when it comes to Marathon, that you actually have a little bit more security than you would with like what we have with Destiny 2 at the moment right now. Though handling cheaters in a game like Marathon, it's absolutely needed to have things truly secure, right? Even more than what we saw for like Call of Duty and Warzone, because with Warzone you just spawn back into the next game. But with Marathon and it being an extraction shooter, if you get taken out by a cheater, that death hits 10 times harder, because whatever stuff you jump into the map with and you get killed by a cheater, you lose all your gear that you worked so hard for to even and then have that ultimately taken away from you by a cheater will hit so much more and make people even want to play the game even less. So I would say be mainly worried about the high-end ranked experience when it comes to dealing with cheaters, right? Like we saw even with Warzone, right? That even with that system, like majority of the cheaters are with like high-end ranked gameplay. And Call of Duty even went out and said that 60% of all their hack accusations are on console players. But the fact that cheaters could potentially be out there to ruin your gameplay experience will then kind of just like have this headcanon of like, oh, I lost because of a cheater, even though you could just been completely out of position and played it poorly. But you know, a lot of people think very highly of themselves about how good they are at shooters. Now we got some information about season 1 already when it comes to Marathon, which is kind of surprising, but it's just something a little simple, just some key art right here to show you guys that like apparently it's called The New Gold Rush is going to be what season 1 is going to be called. This doesn't really lend itself to any kind of specific type of storytelling or anything like that. Well, if you want new storytelling, the alpha intro trailer was just revealed and it's kind of amazing. So if you haven't seen it, let's check it out here in the video.
Initiating runner defragmentation protocol.
This helps provide so much context of like what it is to be a runner.
Evaluating vital signs. Evaluating recognition response. Executing neurological subroutine.
This is the stuff they needed to show during the original reveal.
Liminal buffer status 26%. Assert. Subject is a runner. A disconnected consciousness inhabiting a bio-cybernetic shell. Assert. Subject's psyche was ejected from their body at the moment of their death.
Like providing like a lore explanation of like how you basically respawn into the game. This whole concept is just so cool.
While a new shell is printed, please stand by. Assert. Runners arrived in the Tau Ceti system after the investigation of a distress signal from the lost colony ship, the UESC Marathon. Assert. Runners are mercenaries, hired to salvage from the ruins of the human colony on Tau Ceti 4.
This does such a great job of just giving you, what, quick 2 minutes, let you know what's happening.
Must deal with these threats at their own discretion.
Why didn't Bungie do this when that game first was revealed?
Proceeding with suboptimal durability settings. Liminal buffer status 100%. Runner defragmentation complete. Welcome back, runner.
I mean, Halo fans will lose their minds if seeing Pony, just the word.
Your new shell will be ready momentarily, and you will return to Tau Ceti 4 for your next assignment. Please prepare for consciousness transfer in 3, 2,
Dude, like, yeah,
1.
let's get in, let's jump in, let's do this. I'm excited, count me in. Like, that's kind of the whole point of that. Like, that does such a great job of just kind of setting the tone, setting the world, letting you know what's happening. Now go in and shoot stuff. But yeah, Bungie, in my opinion, absolutely making the right moves when it comes to lifting that NDA. Let people get a chance to see what the game is really about. There's definitely concerns when it comes to the anti-cheat. Now, utilizing dedicated servers could definitely put a twist on how Bungie has dealt with anti-cheat. Again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. You know there's going to be people out there wanting to troll, especially in an extraction shooter. The alpha screen is pure aura vibes, as well as Season 1, knowing that it's going to be called The New Gold Rush. just kind of gets people excited to jump into play. But guys, if you want to see an update and join the community when it comes to the launch and also the experience of the alpha, which I will be live streaming on the channel here, guys, make sure to subscribe with notifications to know when we do go live, which will go live as soon as that alpha is available. If you made it this far in the video, give me a blue heart. Let me know who the real ones are out there in the comments section. Now, if you want the 15 reasons why so many people love and hate Marathon right now, well, check out the video right over here, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace out.